My name is Normand Dubreuil, and I work for Maine State Credit Union, and I'm the president and CEO here. I've been here since 1985, so I've worked here for a few years.
Just a little bit,
CEO
yeah.
since 1994.
So you've done a lot of work in the past with priority learning. When did you start working with priority learning?
This goes back about 21 months ago. Basically what happened is that our HR director went to a conference and spoke with an individual from York County Federal Credit Union, and they were just talking about the work that they were doing with priority learning. And when she came back, she kind of printed out a lot of the material that was online from the website and gave it to me and recommended that I do a little research. And she kind of felt that with the different things that we were working with, as far as team building and helping ourselves as a credit union to just move forward, that priority learning probably has some things to offer that we might be able to utilize. So it really kind of intrigued me, and it intrigued the rest of our senior leaders. We stopped in at priority learning for the first time to meet Ralph and to chat with him. And basically that's what we did. We just kind of sat down and talked, and he wanted to know, what is it that we're looking for? What is it that we wanted? And in reverse, I guess I want to know from him, what can you do for us? type of thing. So we just had that kind of exchange type of thing, and he was pretty good at talking to each of us and wanted to know what we were looking for and if we were ready to commit to the entire process. And he told us that it wasn't going to be easy on the front end, but it was certainly going to be worth it, and that we would have a lot of great experiences doing this.
Have you gotten what you expected out of priority learning?
I have to say we got more than what we expected. and I guess, again, the word expected, what did we expect? I think I went in there at first talking to Ralph about the fact that I felt that we used the word team around here, and yet I didn't believe we truly were a team. And so my expectation was, how do we get ourselves out of the situation that we're in? Because we seem to be working great individually. We seem to be working great as a department, but yet cross-functionally working together and being a true team didn't seem to really be there. There was something missing, and that was kind of my expectation. Today, I can truly say that we are functioning as a team. Are we there 100%? No, we're not, but we're certainly a lot further off today than we were back 21 months ago.
What's the value that you would put on priority learning?
The value there is kind of indescribable. There are a lot of different points. And I think one of the things that I've told people that's different about working with priority learning is from going to other seminars, and we'll stay away from names of other companies, but I've been to many seminars through the years. And it's one of those things where you go for a 1 or 2 day seminar and you come back with a binder full of information. And normally what happens is that it ends up going on a shelf with the intention to go back and review it and try to put some of that to use, and I'll speak for myself, I never do. It's a lot of good information, but it just sits there. The difference here with priority learning is the fact that it becomes reality. It's a real live situation. I think the positive piece of that is that it's really kind of transformed our organization as well as us individually. And from a transformation piece of it, I think that we have grown. We've learned a lot of good techniques on how to work better together. In a coaching aspect, I think we're learning how to be coaches, how to work with staff, how to breed success rather than failure. Learning how to do the right thing, I believe, is another big important piece. I talked a lot about that in the fact that I always try to do the right thing, but I want the organization as a whole to do the right thing. In order for the organization to do that, that means all the employees have to have the buy-in. They have to know what the right thing is, and they need to do that as well, which means we had to learn the 4 elements of culture, which happen to be role, support, power, and achievement. And when we did our first diagnostic tests, it was interesting to see that power and role seem to be pretty high, and achievement support seem to be pretty low. And pretty much the staff said, we want to see the support and the achievement piece come up and the role and the power come down. And so we haven't taken our second test yet, second diagnostic test. That'll be coming up shortly within the next few months. But I would believe and dare say that the support and achievement have really come up, because for the first 18 months of this whole culture initiative, we've done nothing but work on the support piece. And now we're just starting to roll into the achievement culture. We're getting into cross sales, service, and we're at a point that we can say that we're ready to really embark on this new endeavor.
So what would you tell someone if they were interested in priority learning?
I think they have to take a look at what it is that they're looking for. Do they really want to leap forward, and do they want to put some time and effort into their organization? Priority learning is a place to go, because like I said, there are many places around that you can go to for a coaching class, or maybe learn a little bit about executive leadership skills or facilitation skills and so forth. But priority learning, because the time and commitment that the folks there, whether it be Ralph, Craig, or Lorraine, they are in 100%. And they expect nothing less from you as an organization, because they're going to be there for you. You need to be there for yourself. If you're going to make that commitment, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. It's one of those comfort zones where anytime that anyone has a question, and it doesn't matter if it's me as the president CEO, or if it's one of our tellers, member service reps, or loan officer, if they have a question, they can call Ralph, Lorraine, or Craig at any time and talk with them, and they will walk them right through it. So that's kind of the pieces there that I think creates extreme value that you can't get someplace else. And it's interesting because there's not additional costs for doing this. And so that is another big piece of the value, is that there's a fee that you pay up front that you agree to, and everything that you do during the course of the year is all part of that cost. And so there are different models you can choose, but that's the model that we chose, and we're glad that we've done it.
Did anything come as a big surprise when you did that, kind of an aha moment for yourself in a way?
I think there are probably a lot of big surprises that we got. And depending on which series our staff went to, we actually did some in-house training, or we are doing some in-house training with Craig as well, for all our middle managers. And they're just eating it right up. We did a series last year, we're doing the series this year, and they're just buying into this, lock, stock, and barrel. But I think for me, I think the biggest surprise, because I've never seen it with any other company I've ever done business with, is the level of commitment, which I talked about before with Ralph. And because I do a lot of work with Ralph, I'm just so impressed that he is there 100% for you. He talks about having our backs all the time. And he not only talks about it, he actually does it. And I've seen a lot of instances during the course of the past couple of years where he's spoken with me, talked to me about things that are going on, because things get back to him that don't necessarily get to me, and he's able to provide me with that information and let me know that I have a situation rising, I need to work on something, and he's helping me to become a better leader, a better president of the credit union, and I think that is the biggest surprise for me, is that I've never had anyone ever take the time and commitment to work with me that closely. I feel like I have my own personal executive coach sitting right there for me at my disposal whenever I want him, 24/7, 365 days a year. It's amazing. I can send him an email in the middle of the night and I get a response back in minutes. And I'm thinking, okay, because I'm not sleeping, are you not sleeping either? Which is kind of interesting, because that did happen a couple of times. It's like, oh, what's happening here? I didn't really expect a response, but really interesting. So I just think that connection that I have with Ralph, I don't know that I've ever had with anybody else in my entire life. So I think I've created a friend unknowingly through these past 21 months.
What is one thing that you've taken away from your time with priority learning that has really helped you in your daily life?
Sure. I think the one thing, and if I consolidate it all together, would probably be communication. I think that's one of the biggest things that you hear from staff all the time, is that they always feel from upper management that they never receive enough communication. They always want to know more. I think one of the biggest things from communication that I got out of the different series that we've attended, the discussions I've had with Ralph and Craig, basically is open, honest communication and the straight talk. Learning how to create safe environment for everyone that's in the room is one of the biggest things that we use here constantly. We're always talking about what's the ground rules. And when things happen that go awry, to be able to learn from it versus being angry and penalizing someone for making a mistake.
Is there anything else you'd want to add about your time with Priority Learning?
Kind of on a hodgepodge basis, there's so many things that go through my mind. I'm about ready to embark into a new series. I've taken the Facilitator series, which has been really helpful in my presentation techniques. So I've learned how to use multimedia in presentations, which is kind of neat. And interesting enough is that no matter how nervous you seem to be about getting up in front of people and stuff, that Ralph always mentioned trust your audience. And that's one thing that I've learned, because I always felt as a facilitator, you need to make sure that if you're going to ask a question, you always know the answers. Well, that's not necessarily true. Again, being open and honest with the group is to let them know you don't have the answer, but what do you think? And let them come up with some of the answers. That has really helped out a lot. Coaching is a new series that Priority Learning is offering. I'm going to be one of the first ones to dive right into it. We want to transform this credit union into a coaching and learning organization. And right now, as a partner in a strategic alliance, I can't think of anybody else on the face of the earth I'd rather have on my side than Ralph and the Priority Learning team. And it doesn't matter who you talk to in this organization, they have nothing but positive things to say about Ralph and Craig and Lorraine, because they've all been here, they've all worked with us, and they love doing this whole appreciative inquiry piece of it too. And they're great at talking to people, building their self-confidence, and helping people move out of their comfort zone. And I think that's probably another big aha moment, is that a lot of us have stepped outside of that comfort zone that we have. And because we've been able to do that, I find that the working relationship that we have in-house is tenfold from where we were 2 years ago. And so a lot better communication again between all of us. And what's happening is that our membership is benefiting from this, because our staff are better trained, better qualified to do their jobs. They're assisting our members. They're coming back to us and saying, did you know? And we sit back and say, no, we didn't know. So rather than this old saying of saying that you're sitting up in the ivory tower, we're actually getting into the staff. So kind of going back to the old management by walking around type of thing, we're doing a lot more of that, stopping in and talking with everyone and letting them know that it doesn't matter if you're a teller, if you're a facilitator, if you're a person that works on physical facilities, whatever your position is here, it makes no difference. You're part of the whole. You each have an important job, and we appreciate you.
Well, Norm, thank you so much for sitting down with me and sharing all this. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's nice to be a part of this.